Hi everyone, in this video I will show you how to import data within Matomo Analytics. So most of you may know actually that it's possible to import data through a special script, a special Python script which is available actually in order to import log within Matomo Analytics. But in this video I would like to focus on another way that you can import some data within Matomo Analytics. So the typical use case is the following one. Let's imagine that you have like a CRM, and in the CRM, you know when a user finally convert, and you would like actually to send, let's say, the conversion value of this given user within your CRM, within Matomo Analytics at the time where the given user has actually converted on your website, like just sending you submitting a form. And because he submitted a form and like 3 months after that he converted through any phone calls that you made, or any let's say workforce that you made through your salesman, then you converted it, and you would like to go back in the past in Matomo in order to say, hey, this leads, for example, who converted at this specific date, I want to attribute it, let's say, one goal. So I'm not going to show this specific example, but I'm just going to show, let's say, the basic ID behind this. So in order to do that, you will need actually to use what we call an HTTP request. In order to perform this HTTP request, you may need to use curl, which is, let's say, a command line feature function that you can use within a terminal in order to send actually the request. So in my case, I will use the following one. I will use curl in order to send some data to Matomo. Here will be actually the place where my file is located in order to track the data out, and here I will send the parameters that I would like to send. So in my case, I'm gonna select something like a date range of 5 days, right? So let's do this. So here I have some dates which goes from the 5th to the 1st, and I'm gonna actually play on this one, right? So we are today on the 5th of December, and I would like to inject actually on this specific user some data. So let's say that's going to be the action number 3, or even the action number 2, that I would like to inject something in order to say, okay, this user, for example, has done something else, let's say 5 days ago, but I just missed the data, or at least I got it later on through another one. I would like to import it within Matomo. So in order to do so, we need curl, and we will need as well the documentation of the tracking API, because it's through this HTTP tracking API that we can actually inject the data. So in our case, let's say for this specific user, so it happens on the 1st of December, I need to know on which user I'm going to play with. So in my case, I'm just going to click over here, and I get here the visitor profile. Okay, so the visitor profile is really the ID which is associated to this given user, and that I need to have in order to say, okay, it's on this specific user that I would like to play and that I would like to send the data. So I'm just gonna copy and paste this data up here, and I'm gonna, let's say, just gonna keep it in mind. It's the data, the ID I want to send the data to. I want to send the data to. Okay, so here I have my curl. I say curl expression, so that's what I'm gonna send. This is the location of my Matomo installation. It's actually, I have ID and rec parameters up here, because if you look at the documentation, in order to send an HTTP request, it needs to be done this way. So here you have the location of your instance, and then your post parameters, which are after. So why do I have ID, site, and rec? The reason is that those are required parameters. So in any case, I cannot send my HTTP request without those two parameters here. Rec always equal to 1, and ID site refer to the site within your instance of Matomo to which you would like to send the data to. So in my case, ID site equal 1 and rec equal 1. Then I need to decide actually extra data that I would like to push to the system. Just to let you know, if you just have ID, site, and rec, the data will appear like this, okay? The data will appear like this. You won't have any, let's say, browser or whatever thing, because you are actually sending the data through a terminal and not through a browser. So that's the kind of difference you may notice. So let's continue. Then I need to define an action name. It's not a required parameter, it's just optional, but here in my case, I'm just gonna say, okay guys, it works. So I'm just gonna say, okay guys, it works, just in order to show you that it works. Okay guys, it works. Okay. Then the CID. So the CID represent what? I have no idea what is the CID. Okay, yeah, the CID is actually what was I referring to. Okay, that's the one that I would like to copy and paste over here, and I'm just putting up here. Okay. I don't remember, as I said, what is the CID, so I'm just gonna look within the documentation in order to say, okay, CID define the visitor ID for this request, and recommend setting the user ID via UID rather than use the CID. Oh, okay, but in my case, I'm gonna keep the CID anyway. I don't know why. I don't know if it's a good practice or not, but I'm just gonna keep it just because it's named the visitor ID, and when I looked at this specific user, I have the feeling that actually the name is the same, right? It's a visitor profile ID, so I have the feeling that's the right one. So I'm keeping this one. And then I need to send a data in the past, right? So the data sent in the past correspond to CDT parameters. So I'm just gonna go over here and say CDT, right? CDT. And CDT stands for the date time of the request. So actually, this is where I need to say, okay, in the past, at this specific time, it happened this. I tried to add a value such as this one, and it did not work out, even by encoding the value. So I don't know, maybe I did something wrong. However, I will use here the Unix timestamp. So in my case, I want to go back in the past and I want to inject something after 946. 946 being this one, I guess, and this one is 94622. So I'm going to do something kind of challenging here. I'm going to try to inject actually my data between 1 and 2. I'm going to do it at 946 and 20. 946 and 20. Okay, in order to do so, so it's 946 and 20 local time, and in my case it was on December the 1st. Why am I using actually this service, epochconverter.com? Because it's giving me the epoch timestamp that I need, which is the data that actually Matomo is expecting to see within the CDT parameters in order to know when will I actually inject it. And after I need to inject as well the token authentifier. What is the token? The token corresponds to your login and password, let's say, somehow, and that you can find it out actually when you go over here, when you click on the wheel, and then you go on the left, you have personal, and personal, if you click on something like settings or something similar to that, you will get actually an access to the token. So yeah, I'm so happy because this is not what I asked. I said the 1st to the 5th. So yeah, let's go back where we were. So okay, so here is the place where I would like to add it. So normally from here, let's say all my request is made. So of course, if I would have defined actually within my UI the goal definition, I could have, I guess, picked it up here, the goal. Say goal, right? So goal. So if I do something like this, goal. Okay, I could have sent actually ID goals and the revenue associated to it. So the example that I gave you about the CRM is, I guess, working. So now I'm gonna just execute this specific URL, and just in order to show you that there's no magician behind. I'm just gonna refresh the page in order to show you that I have not yet injected it, right? So here, as you can say, on the 1st of December, nothing appeared because I have not yet fired my request. So that's what I'm gonna do right now. So I'm gonna go over here and just gonna, let's say, copy and paste my request. So this is how it works. Actually, I'm within a shell, within a terminal. And I'm just saying, okay, I'm going to use curl, blah, 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 and I'm going to execute that. And I just need to press enter. So here there's some strange message, which are telling me, okay, I can mess up your terminal and blah, blah, blah. But doesn't really matter. I press enter and actually it sent the request. So normally now if I refresh this page and if I'm lucky enough for this video demo, it should, so here nothing's happening because it wasn't the first. And okay, as you can see, actually it injected it at the second for a date in the past, for the 1st of December. So it works. So yeah, of course I don't have any page URL defined because I did not pick it up, the URL parameter, but I could have added it as well in order to inject it within, yeah, it's not the one. Yeah, it's up here. Okay, I should have had it here in order to get it, but it works. Let's actually, you just made me think about a test that I could do because I'm looking for a way of search and replace some parameters. And here I'm wondering what will happen if at the exact same date I inject actually let's say the same request, but just by adding the URL, and let's see if actually it's erasing the current one or if it's gonna create something else. So I'm just gonna do like URL, and let's say, let's look at the documentation, the full URL of the current action. So what do they mean by full URL? I'm not sure. I'm just gonna have a look up here and say, okay, they expect to have the full thing. So just gonna pick up this one. I'm gonna do something like this, right? Like the end, like having awesomeness, but I guess, and I know a little bit Matomo, I guess it's gonna request it to be encoded like this. So just gonna do this, I'm just gonna encode it, and maybe if I do this, it will be probably better accepted. So just gonna fire this one, okay, and let's see how it goes over here. Okay, interesting. So I may have messed up something, but it seems that actually it's just keeping the first one. That's too bad. I should investigate a little bit more in order to know if there is a way of erasing the data before. But as you can see, I can inject some data in the past. I just discovered that out, so I did not dig it that much into it. But there is a plugin as well which is available, which is made invalidate report, because when you inject actually some data, or at least it seems that when you inject data in the past, you need as well to reprocess all the reports which are included within Matomo Analytics in order to have this data taken into consideration in all the report that you have. So that was the little thing. And the other thing that actually some of you are probably already thinking about is how can I inject actually some data, or at least is it possible to inject data coming from Google Analytics within Matomo Analytics? Um, the answer is probably yes, because of course, if you can export some data, and as you can see over here, we have some client ID, we have some BigQuery client ID. I mean, in any cases, here we have an ID, right? We have an ID, we have a configuration for the different devices, we have some times over here, and if I click here on export, I will probably get more information about this given user, which is the case because I already tested it before. And if I go over here, no, that's not the one I'm looking for. Okay, so that's the file I was looking for, right? So here you have probably the information that we wanted about this given user. If we look for ID, for example, ID, and I guess that actually we can probably link those data actually after to Matomo somehow. It's just that I don't have the time yet to test it, to try something, but I guess that if you can import data in the past, you can probably import actually data coming from anything as far as you have like kind of a good template. I really hope that actually you loved and you liked this video. Thanks for watching.